And action.
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 I'm doing an action. I know what I'm doing. Thank you. You know, I've been getting a lot of questions about whether or not small talks are real. Like, as in, am I where I am? Is it on location, or do we use some kind of background and take the background and use that to create the different small talks? Well, actually, I've traveled quite a bit, both as a minister as well as personally. And I love to travel, and I travel all over the world. So whenever you see me, whether it's in Africa or France, if it's in London or if it's in some other part of the world, I'm actually there. And so now here I am actually in my kitchen doing my honeydew for the day, trying to take care of the family before I get on with some other things. So it is what it is. Small talks are the real deal. So welcome to my kitchen. The whole idea about the whole small talk deal is, actually Thomas and I were just hanging around the office one day, and I had some thoughts, some things on my mind that I wanted to talk about, and I thought it would be good if it was for a larger audience. And we'd actually talked about the fact that, you know, today's consumer isn't interested in long TV programs or, you know, long videos, but they're more interested in the smaller kind of bites of information. And so we just got in the car, started driving, I started talking, he started recording, and there was the birthing of small talks. The thing is, I've asked myself whether or not, as the church, we kind of started heading down the wrong road with what we do with the people that come and become a part of our churches. You know, are we trying to create churchgoers? Are we trying to create fans? I'm seeing a lot of celebrity that's into the pulpit, so I'm asking the question, are we really making disciples? And what does that mean? Because what I've seen happen a lot of times is, the thinking is, go and get people saved, introduce them to Christ, and bring them, and of course, ideally make them a part of our church. But I don't think that that's the mandate at all. I think the mandate really is to make disciples. So since that time, it's evolved and become more refined. So we kind of created a wraparound for it. And basically, whenever I'm traveling, I take a camera with me. And a lot of times, I'm the crew. There's nobody else there. I have a video recorder, a tripod, and some thoughts. Just some thoughts about what I want to talk about. There are times in life when it seems like the waves of life just kind of toss you to and fro without any control. In fact, many say that everything happens for a reason. But let me suggest this to you. We have been given the power to choose, the power of choice to make wise decisions. And of course, from the counsel of the word, we're able to make the decisions that bring us life and life eternal. I want to encourage you to seek out the truth of God's word and make choices based on those words. It'll make a difference in all of your life. Then there are times when I actually create me a crew on the fly. If there's somebody with me, then I'll ask them to grab the camera. I get in position. I have a little microphone that I plug up to make sure the audio is good. And I just record it. And then from there, we bring it back to the studio. And then Thomas works his magic on the editing. And we upload them. And then you get the chance to enjoy them. So it's the real deal. It's good stuff. So I'm in my kitchen doing what I love to do. I love to cook. I love when people enjoy it. It's like I love preaching, love sharing truth. Small Talks is one of those ways that we're able to take modern technology and reach people that may not be reached any other way. I get calls, I get emails, I get inboxed. Sometimes when I'm traveling, someone will say, I watch those Small Talks faithfully. May never respond to them. So it's a very powerful tool, and already we've inspired some others to begin to do some similar. And we're encouraging people, jump on this technology thing. I think about television very often and the church's response to television when television first came out years ago. And what people did was, in the church, said, well, this is something of the devil. And we've since discovered that it wasn't at all, and that now we have to pay for what we could have owned. So we have the internet. We need to take full advantage of it. And sometimes as a church, it means redirecting our resources to begin to do things that are more creative, and again, focus on touching the young people, particularly of the day. But everybody's getting involved now. I have a 90-year-old uncle who gets involved with the internet, so the world is getting touched by it. So we got to get in there and do something with it. Well, we've got mission partners all over the world too. That I'm traveling. When I go to Nigeria, we have our good friend Bishop Peter Makanto, who's there, who is doing an incredible work. When we've done food programs. A few years ago, we donated a generator, actually, that's huge, to be able to power up their entire campus, their church, their school. They have both elementary school, they have a college, and the generator we donated, they can power all of that up. But when I'm out and about in these different places, I'm able to record and to capture not only a powerful message in a moment, but also just a great place. You get a chance to actually absorb and feel the culture where we're at. So I enjoy just taking people with me. It's like taking people on the trip. People always say, hey, when next time you go, I don't mind carrying bags. Of course, if I had $1 for everybody that wanted to carry the bag, I could live anywhere in the world I want to. We get a chance to go to Nigeria. We have ministry partners in France. We have ministry partners in London, all over the place. And I'm breaking one of my rules here because I don't like nobody to wash their hands in the kitchen sink. But I gotta get these spices out, and I don't want to jack up the spices with my chickeny hands. It's called cross-contamination.
Maybe to your left side just a little bit. I mean, keep it on there, just slide it.
Yeah, I'm trying, but it ain't trying.
Oh, okay.
That's better?
Yeah, I think so.
The process of developing the small talks, totally unrehearsed, unscripted, spontaneous. We're just recording as we go. And again, a lot of times I just get a thought, and in getting the thought, we jump to it, start talking about whatever comes to mind. I'm in the kitchen. I'm thinking about bread and Jesus' statement that man should not live by bread alone. So there's a thought, and from there, you'll probably get a small talk to come out of that.
Going location scouting, looking for a spot for Pastor Nolan to do a small talk. We gonna call this one Down by the Riverside.
Down by the riverside. Down by the riverside. Real cool glasses and everything. All right, so check this. So the whole idea is this is baptism. What happens? What happens when you are baptized into Jesus Christ? Okay. So here's a scientific, or what do you call it? Scientific what? A scientific, what do you call it? Experiment. Scientific. Here's a scientific experiment. Because look, this is where I'm going, Thomas. In case you wanna come down here. Okay, I've taken this beautiful spring day for this scientific experiment that will illustrate one of the most powerful mysteries found in Scripture as it relates to the believers in Jesus Christ. A bottle of H2O and a river that's flowing. Watch this. If I take this water, pour it into the river. Now, if you can tell me the difference between the water I poured in and the water that's flowing in the river right now, then you figured out an incredible mystery, and that's having been baptized in Jesus Christ. Baptized into his death, his burial, and resurrection. We've come up alive, one with him, just like that water is one with this river. So I'm checking all my spices now to see how I'm gonna hook this up. That's something else I do. Spontaneous, rarely a recipe, but some good eatments. But sometimes it's, you know, just in traveling, I may encounter something, maybe I'm teaching something, and it'll spark a thought. And from there, here I go, talking about a particular topic. So it's kind of organic, kind of natural. The other thing that happens is very often I got, like, you know, instant props just by virtue of where I'm at, whether it's the mountains in Alaska, the ocean in California. Sometimes it's the plane that we're on become the prop. And then I have people who will assist that's close by. And I've used everything. Grayling in Atlanta has been used just because we're cruising around. He's helped me out. Put the camera before him, tell him let's go. We were riding in Atlanta and we were driving by a Waffle House, and we don't have the Waffle House here in the Midwest. It's in Atlanta, and it's just a joint. I mean, it's just a greasy spoon. But it's one of those things that if you're there, you gotta have it. And I told them, pull over, and we began to shoot in front of the Waffle House. We on? That's good. Peacetime? Good. Grayling says we're on while this red truck comes by to say how y'all doing, you know, down in the dirty south. And he want to slow it up, you know what I'm saying, just to kind of make it do what it do, baby. You know, hunger is something else. It'll make you pull over on the side down here to the dirty south. Hook up some of this. I'm not gonna be fool. Once in London, I had a recording artist out of Jamaica who was on the same program with me. And her husband and I, you know, really hit it off well. So we went out in London doing some shopping. And while we were shopping, I handed him the camera. I said, hey, just hold this while I do what I do. I'm just waiting for like the taxis and the buses to show up. I'll tell you when, yeah, let's let it roll. You know what I've discovered? That movement isn't everything. You can get more done on your knees than you can get done on your feet any time of the day. And this guy walking behind me is gonna have us a good laugh on this one. All right, here we go. So it's a real interesting, creative kind of a process that I like. I like the spontaneity of it, and I like what we get out. Now, sometimes it doesn't work. I mean, it's much as we like all of them work, there are many small talks that never left the editing room. You know, the kingdom of God is very different than this world. When you climb in the world, you have to work so hard to climb. But in the kingdom, the Bible says, he that exalts himself will be humbled, but he who humbles himself shall be exalted. Work with that one. Humble yourself before the Lord and see yourself rise to the top. This summer I was in Alaska, got a chance to actually take a cable car to on a mountain and then walk the rest of the way. And while going, we had a chance to shoot some really good stuff. But of course, anytime you're dealing with the elements, you're dealing with those serendipitous experiences where things just happen. And so on the mountain you have the whole thought that a bear, an actual bear, could be present. Just tilt down to here a little. No, don't do all that. Just stay where you're at. It's just same position now. I was just saying, just tilt a little. Actually, we're in the Yukon on the Canadian side. You know, ever since I was a teenager, prayer is one of the things that I've always enjoyed. And then secondly, you have things like bugs, which drive you crazy when you're trying to shoot video. Tell me when, Doctor. You can go. There's a whole lot of use of the word love, and these bugs are tripping, boy. We in the mountains for real. And this ain't no joke. Good Lord have mercy.
You see the camera, man.
All right, stop it. Then we had a chance to actually drive up through the Yukon Territory, even crossed over to the Canadian border. Getting there and then seeing nature as God created, it was absolutely breathtaking, and immediately it puts you in this meditative state. And so every place you go, it's just a wonderful opportunity. One time in particular, we were on a cruise ship and we were going, and we entered into an area. I was actually asleep, my wife was awake. But the captain announced the fact that he had been traveling that route for many, many years and had never seen such a clear day, and it provided an opportunity to go in to the glaciers like never before. And he actually went in and then turned the ship like on a dime. My wife woke me up, and here we go with the spontaneity. Now I'm half asleep, but this background is incredible. What's the first thought I have? We got to do a small talk. Barely have time to do anything but get before the camera. Still have a frog in my voice, my shirt on, and my pajamas. My wife just woke me up, so this is gonna be kind of froggy. I'm still in my pajamas. This is just, look down there, look down there, look down, look down. That's enough. So he didn't need the sound effects from Big Mouth behind the camera. You ready? Small talk, where we at?
200.
Tracy Arm, Alaska. Day 99. Captain's log. Very often in the Bible you hear that God is a God of covenant. Covenant, basically. It's such a wonderful deal. I just wanted people to know that it's real, it's legitimate, that when we're there, we're there. There's no blue screen, there's no tricks. It's the real deal, the small talk. We were in Seattle, and the ship had docked, and we were filming. And again, sometimes people want to get into the act. And this was a case where someone kind of walked into the shot while I was talking. My back is to them. My son is holding the camera. He sees the backdrop. It's absolutely hilarious, just the timing of it. It has to do with appetite, and appetite plays a major role in all of life. What we see with our eyes, what we taste, what we, One more time. What we hear, what we see. And my lips too greasy. Go, let's go. Ready? Have you ever cut on the television, weren't at all hungry, all of a sudden you saw a commercial of this big fat juicy cheeseburger and you became hungry? It has to do with appetite. Appetite. So the church is in a town called Plainfield outside of Chicago. And before 1990, when a tornado hit this town, it was just a small country town, 3,000 people, farmhouses everywhere, and it has since grown extraordinarily, and now we're here since 96. And why am I telling all of this stuff? Because nobody cares, but we can go on and continue to talk about small stuff. Here we go. Very often what we do is just have a thought, just pack up, get in the car and drive, because Plainfield has a lot of cute little spots, whether it's the downtown area or along the DuPage River. I'm fully convinced that Jesus' prayer is so powerful in that he says, Father, don't take them out of the world, but keep them from the evil one. I think we have a responsibility to learn how to talk the language of the world. In fact, I believe that the church is bilingual. And that motorcycle right there is really testing my Christianity right now. We ready? All of it provides great background for great small talks.